Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. Nice to have you along. Welcome to another edition of the Miners Sports Weekly. I'm John Teicher, UTEP Assistant Athletics Director and play-by-play voice of the Miners, and our show is produced weekly by UTEP students in the Department of Communication. Today's show features UTEP Women's Volleyball, the UTEP Miner Marching Band, and also UTEP Life Skills. Plus, we have a special feature story for you today on the Miner football program. And of course, Julie Levesque, UTEP Senior Woman Administrator and Senior Associate Athletic Director, is here to help me with all of that. Hi, Julie.
Thank you, John. Hi. It's great to be here. I'm delighted to talk with you and our statewide viewers about what's going on in UTEP athletics. As you mentioned, we have a great show today. I'm really excited to introduce to our audience Andre Fagan, Director of the UTEP Miner Marching Regiment, as well as the UTEP Pep Band. Also joining us today is Life Skills Coordinator Mandy Polito, and we also welcome back Head Volleyball Coach Holly Watts. The women's volleyball team leaves this week for Middle Tennessee as they head into the Conference USA Championship Tournament. Looking forward to visiting with Coach Watts and seeing what they're going to be doing this week, and we should have a great show today.
And as the fall semester winds down, some of our sports are headed into their conference tournaments, some of them just starting their winter seasons. Men's basketball has begun their season. They've got a couple of big home games this week against Colorado State and New Mexico State. Meanwhile, women's basketball will host Northern Arizona this week in the Don Haskins Center, continuing a string of early season home games.
Coach Kevin Cross and the women's soccer team made it to the quarterfinals in the Conference USA tournament, which was held at Rice in Houston. They actually went into overtime against the East Carolina Pirates, but unfortunately did not come out with the victory. So they wrapped up their terrific season for the 2013 year. Congratulations to UTEP Soccer. The cross-country team will be wrapping up their season, heading to the NCAA championship meet next weekend in Terre Haute, Indiana. Sophomore Anthony Rodich will be their top runner. And last year as a freshman, he finished fourth, so we're looking for some great results this year.
Believe it or not, UTEP football has wrapped up its home schedule. Road games at Tulane and Middle Tennessee remain to close out the season. Both the men's and women's golf teams have concluded their fall schedules. They'll be back in the spring.
Freshman Rachel Schoenrock fired a career best for the rifle team with their match against Nevada. Then it was off to Fort Worth this past weekend, where they met up with the Air Force and TCU to finish their fall schedule. They'll be heading into their regular season coming up in February. Finally, the Miner volleyball team, as we said, will be headed into Conference USA tournament in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
So lots going on.
Yes.
Let's see what's coming up this week in UTEP Miners athletics.
It's been an exciting season for first-year volleyball coach Holly Watts here at UTEP. Now she and the Miners are headed into Conference USA tournament in Middle Tennessee coming up this weekend. Welcome back to the show, Holly. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Julie.
Let's go ahead and talk about your volleyball coaching career. You've been coaching for 20 years. This is your 20th season.
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yes.
First 2 years at UTA, 12 years at Arkansas, and 5 years at Florida State. Now you're here at UTEP. How have you enjoyed your first year here as a head coach?
My first year here has been incredible. The support has been tremendous from the administration, from you guys, from the fans. El Paso is a very welcoming community, and it's been a great volleyball season.
Senior Sidlale Herrera is the only Miner to earn Conference USA Player of the Week this year for you guys. She's been a real force at the net. Tell us a little bit about her.
Lale's been a great player for us this year. She's been a force at the net as well as in the back row. And she plays full rotation, so she leads us in kills per set, and I believe she's second on our team in digs per set. So we take advantage of her skills all the way around the court.
And she just recently was named to the Capital One Academic All-District second team for District 7. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the great thing about Lale is she's a great student athlete. She's not only a great volleyball player, but she does a great job in the classroom. She's a great role model for her teammates as well as the people in the community.
Another senior on the team, Victoria Valencia, we actually had a chance to interview her last week here on the show, and she is one of the top UTEP defenders for your team. She set a school record against Oral Roberts. She's only 5'3", but she's a great player for you guys. Tell us a little bit about her.
She is. Victoria just dominates in the back row. She doesn't let anything hit the ball, any balls hit the ground around her. She does a great job. She's enthusiastic. She's a great piece of energy for our team. And if she's energetic, our whole team is. And so we keep her up for us.
And one of your other key seniors, Malia Patterson, she's your senior setter.
Right.
Tell us how she's controlling the team and,
Yeah.
and her role.
The way that Malia helps us out the most is she's real even. She doesn't get too emotional up or down. And so she's a great leader for us on the court. She's been really consistent as well. She does a great job of getting the ball to the hot hitters.
And with those seniors going to be gone next year, you have some returning players. Let's start with your outside hitters, Taylor Nix and Talia Jones. Who else do you have returning?
Well, we do have our two outsides. We have both of our two other middles that will be returning, Madison Morris and Dominique Millette, and then also Lindsay Larson on the right side. And we have a great defensive core. They've all been contributing this season, and so it'll be a fight to see who gets that role that Victoria is taking this year.
And now let's talk about next weekend. You're preparing for the conference tournament.
Yes.
It's at Middle Tennessee. What are you going to focus on? What are you going to have the team? I know this. They went to the tournament last year, but it had been a couple years off for the tournament. So last year they went back. It was a little new for everyone. They were a little nervous. This year we're going back.
Right. I think the level of competition that we've played this year should help prepare us for this conference tournament that's coming up. We've played all the teams before, and so we know what to expect out of them. We really want to focus on our side of the net and do the best job that we can on our side, and then let the points come.
And with that, you're coming to an end. It's been a long season. How are you maintaining that energy through the season and on through this conference tournament?
Well, a big part of it is the girls, the team really, they love to play. They love the game, and they love to use this as a source for their education. And so every volleyball team in the country has been going since the middle of August. So everybody's in the same position as far as being tired at the end of the season. So just the teams that love to play and the teams that want to be out there the most are the ones that become more successful at the end.
And your student athletes, of course, student, then athletes. Tell us a little bit how you manage them or give them advice on how to maintain a schedule of school and training and everything else that they do.
Right. Well, we have a lot of help from the MAC, the Minor Athletic Academic Center, and so we have someone that helps them to keep everything in order, keep their calendar in order so they don't let things slip up. We travel so much that they really have to have their time management in order and their life together so that they can keep on and every week take care of business.
The team looks pretty close this year. They look like they're really connected and a little closer than I've seen in the past. Tell me about what you do. What have you done to foster that relationship?
Well, I think mostly it's the team themselves. I mean, thank you for giving me some credit, but I think that it's mostly them, that they really do care about each other. They spend time together off the court as well as on the court, and they want to play hard for their teammates. So even the ones that aren't starters or aren't on the court all the time are very supportive and encouraging of their team. And
great crowds this year at the UTEP volleyball games.
Yes, it's been great to play in Memorial Gym. The fans are knowledgeable and they get excited and they give us a really great home court advantage.
Oh, great. Well, we want to wish you the best of luck at the Conference USA tournament coming up, to you and the team. Good luck. Thanks again for being here and taking time out of your busy day. And good luck, and we'll see you there.
All right, thank you.
Now let's take a look at the final schedule for the women's volleyball team.
I have very much been looking forward to this segment. We are joined by Andre Fegan, who directs the UTEP Marching Regiment and also the UTEP Pep Bands, a gentleman who I think in his relatively brief time at UTEP has done wonders, not only for the UTEP music department, but for the atmosphere at UTEP football and men's basketball and women's basketball home games in particular. Thanks for taking time. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
You've been here 4 years already.
4 years now. It's amazing how time goes by so very fast. It feels like a lot longer, but I feel very much at home and feel that all of the ensembles, both on the concert and the athletic band side, have really gelled together over the past couple of years, and now we have a smooth operating machine. It's really exciting.
I want to get more into that, but there are a couple of things I want to get to before we get too far along here. First of all, the Miners played a football game in Denton, Texas a couple of weeks ago at North Texas. First of all, I didn't know that you're studying there as we speak.
As we speak, yes,
But
sir.
you were at pregame, you were on the North Texas sideline representing UTEP with your orange jacket on.
Quite well. My best friend is the director of athletic bands there, so he is the me of UNT. And you know, when the playing of the alma mater happened, standing beside him, I have a wonderful photo of him standing in his green shirt, me in my orange shirt, both participating in that event. But it was great to be there. I was very proud to have that orange coat on there.
I also want to pass along a Twitter question that we have for you. What did you think of Ohio State University's marching band's salute to Hollywood that went viral a couple of weeks ago?
You know, it's very interesting about that. That whole concept of what that show is something that was done a long time ago. Everyone used to do that, and no one talked about it. It went away, and they've kind of rebirthed a thing that's quite old. But I think it's very entertaining. I think it's very creative, and I love how they have these weekly spins on the competitive rivals that they have in football and incorporate them weekly into their marching band shows. I think it's great.
As I said right at the top, I think you've been a breath of fresh air for the game day atmospheres at UTEP home athletic events, primarily football, men's and women's basketball. Coming in, what was your orientation to that?
I've been around athletic bands for a while, serving as a graduate teaching assistant for both the University of North Texas and the University of Memphis, where I did my graduate programs. I'd been used to that environment, but you have to get in and see what works best, sometimes what's missing, what you can enhance that you already have there to take it to the next level. So I thought I had a game plan, but being at a couple of games, both in football and basketball, taught me a little about a little of what the crowd wanted and what the kids were getting involved in, and we were able to take it from there.
One of the things that at least my perception is that you've been able to increase the numbers that are taking part in the UTEP minor marching regiment and the pep bands.
Absolutely,
how has
sir.
participation increased since you've been here?
Participation has been awesome, and I think one of our true testaments is figuring out how many non-music major students that we have. And when I got here, the ratio was probably about 60-40. Now it's about 40-60. So 60% non-majors. Both the leaders of the program are from the biology department and the engineering department. With a school this size, I would roughly say that the band could be about 470 people. Finding those people that are on campus that have that musical background and want to continue that experience in a low pressure environment, that's something that we've been wanting to establish. But I'm a firm believer that quality equals success, and that's what we're benefiting from. The group is very good and people are attracted to it.
It takes a tremendous dedication for these kids to put the time in necessary
Absolutely.
to get the job done properly. During the season, and I know it's more so even before the season begins, how much time do you spend on the minor marching regiment? How much time do these kids spend every week?
Well, the Marching Minor Regiment rehearses 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 hours. And then we have about a 7.5 hour Saturday that happens sometimes before the football game even begins. Not to mention the 14-day, 15-hour days that we have to get the season going. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, in fact, I get to the home games a lot of times for 6 o'clock kickoff right around noon, and you guys are getting your day underway at the very same time.
Absolutely. We start at 10 o'clock at a 6 o'clock game, so 6 hours before that kickoff, we are actively preparing for the day.
One of the things that I like that you've done is you brought a little history back. A lot of the things that the minor marching regiment did years and years and years ago before the school was even named UTEP.
Absolutely. This is one of the things that I think, I came here and discovered a couple of things. I was asking, students on campus, what's the alma mater, or sing this school spirit song to me. And discovering some of these musical gems from the 1920s and 1930s has been absolutely remarkable. I think it ties along with us approaching the centennial to bring all of that stuff back in a big way.
You're also a professor of music aside from your duties with
Yes,
the
sir.
bands. How do you find time for it all?
You know, it's crazy. I ask myself that on a daily basis. I have a concert on Thursday of this week, a basketball game tonight, a basketball game on Sunday, a football game on Saturday. We are a busy group of people, but it's the life that we love.
Well, you do such a great job for the kids involved and obviously for the fans that attend these events. Thanks for all you do, Andre, and thanks for taking time to join us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Let's take a look at some pictures and video of UTEP Band, the Pep Band and the Minor Marching Regiment in action. Welcome back. Before we bring Amanda Polito from UTEP Life Skills onto the set, we have a special feature story for you this week. Our Minor Sports Weekly production team had an opportunity to work on a story featuring some of the standouts from UTEP football as well as the history of the sport, all tying in very nicely with the upcoming centennial celebration here at UTEP. Let's have a look.
A college football game doesn't just start at kickoff and end in the fourth quarter. It starts with the days and months of preparation when the crowd isn't watching. Hi, I'm Brandon Craighead, offensive lineman for the UTEP Minor football team. Over the years, many players have come and played on this field, all with the same goal, to win. As UTEP Centennial Celebration approaches, it's the perfect time to take a look back at UTEP football history. In 1937, when UTEP was still known as Texas College of Mines, student-athlete Ken Heineman left his mark on UTEP football. During his career, he acclimated 4,874 yards on offense. He won the school's first All-American selection 3 years in a row. He then put minor football on the map when he became UTEP's first NFL draft choice, being drafted by the Cleveland Rams in 1940. When you want to talk UTEP football, it doesn't get much better than Jesse Whittington. He is considered to be one of the best student-athletes in UTEP history. Before beginning his career with the Green Bay Packers, Whittington rushed for 1,351 yards, passed for 1,381 yards, and caught 19 passes.
Florida State was the one that I really got a kick out of because we was at least 14 points underdog there also, and we beat them bad, beat them real bad.
After an outstanding 9-year career with the Green Bay Packers, he was inducted into their hallowed Hall of Fame. Playing under the name Texas Western College, wide receiver Don Maynard made his 3-year career one to remember. During his college career, he caught 28 passes and averaged 27 yards a pass. He then went on to play for the New York Jets, where he continued to set records and become one of the top receivers in NFL history. Maynard was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1987 and UTEP's Hall of Fame in 2004. Before Larry K. Durham was known for funding UTEP's state-of-the-art facility, he was known for being the first player to score a touchdown in the Sun Bowl on September 21st, 1963. He helped the Miners to a 34-7 win over North Texas with a 54-yard run on the first play. Durham still shares the longest interception return in school history, a 100-yard run against New Mexico in 1962. Now a businessman, Durham continues to give back to UTEP athletics with an outstanding facility which opened in 2002. A few years before Texas Western College became UTEP, student-athlete Bob Wallace proved once more why the 1965 football season was one to remember. Wallace made history when he caught a 92-yard touchdown pass from Billy Stevens at Utah to win the game. During his career as a wide receiver, he caught 123 catches before going to play tight end with the Chicago Bears. The list of student-athletes goes on. Seth Joyner came to UTEP as a walk-on before transforming into a college standout, which led him to be a linebacker in the NFL for 13 seasons. Tony Tolbert had an All-American college career before having a long career with the Dallas Cowboys, winning back-to-back championships. Quarterback Pat Haggerty led UTEP to their first 10-win season in 1988 and went on to play for the Denver Broncos. A lot of these athletes have continued their careers past UTEP, like Brian Young, who played for both the St. Louis Rams and the New Orleans Saints, before retiring and joining the Saints coaching staff. El Paso native Paul Smith spent 8 years in the NFL with San Francisco, Detroit, St. Louis, and Denver himself. In the last 10 years, Jordan Palmer and Johnny Lee Higgins have been among football greats to come out of UTEP. Ending his college career as one of the winningest starting quarterbacks in UTEP history, Palmer led the Miners to the first back-to-back bowl appearances in 50 years. Johnny Lee Higgins ended his amazing college career in 2006, being nationally ranked, averaging 109 yards a game. He became an Oakland Raider in the NFL and played 4 years as a punt and kickoff returner. A college football game may only last 60 minutes, but the legacy a player leaves behind can last a lifetime. UTEP's football legacy has been built by student athletes who played their hearts out on that field. As UTEP celebrates its centennial, let's celebrate the accomplishments of these many student athletes and the many more still yet to come. Go Miners!
Today, we welcome Mandy Polito from our UTEP Life Skills Office. Thanks so much for being here, Mandy.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for most people, we really only know and we see the athletes perform on the field in competitions, games, etc. But a lot of us here that work in athletics know what you guys do. So for the people who don't really know much about our Life Skills Office, tell us a little bit more about the program here at UTEP and how our athletes develop off the field.
So when I explain what I do to a lot of people who always ask is, I do everything outside of athletics. I handle their career and personal development as well as our community outreach program, which is pretty huge here at UTEP. So I handle over 300 student athletes in all those areas, which means I get to put on a lot of fun workshops for the athletes as well as take them to community service events and watch them pretty much grow as an overall individual here in college.
And so let me just talk to you a little bit about how you know so much about this Life Skills program and everything that goes into it, because you were a student athlete here at UTEP, you've gone through the program, and so that's kind of your passion and what you know and what you've done, and you've been through this.
Right, so I was a track and field athlete here for 4 years, the best experience of my life, and they offered me a GA spot here. So I decided, you know what, I like this athletics atmosphere, I like it, I like being around student athletes, I like being around sports. So I decided, you know, let me pursue this. And I was lucky enough to get the life skills position, which is great because my scholarships when I was here was athletic and academic. So I knew that being an overall well-rounded person is extremely important, and that's what our department focuses on.
So also you do Life Skills program, but you also oversee the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, also known as the SAC. We had Tyler Tafoya here on the show last week, and he was talking a little bit about about the committee and what he does as a student athlete advisory representative. What are the responsibilities of the SAC, and how do you manage the SAC?
So my advisory committee is pretty much my baby. All this there's 30 student athletes, athletes from each sport. We have actually 5 individuals from football, which is the most we've ever had. And you'll see the big name players. We have Aaron Jones, we have Christine Vitola, Tyler Tafoya. We have a great group of student athletes. And what they do is they're the ambassadors of the sports. They communicate to me if they're having any problems or any difficulties on campus. That way I can let our administration know, bring that to their attention. They also decide some NCAA legislation stuff where they have to vote on whether they want this rule approved. They also are in charge of our community outreach. I'm pretty much sending out texts to them every day, hey, we have this going on, let your teams know. So everything that I want the 300 student athletes to know, I let those 30 student athletes know.
So the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, they also work on community service here in the El Paso area. Athletes last year logged over 3,000 community service hours, which is just amazing. I know you guys have a higher goal this year, but tell us a little bit about the community service projects and what have you guys been doing?
So we take pride in our community outreach program. Last year we doubled it, like you said, there were 1,700 hours in the 2010-2011 school year, so we wanted the 2012-2013 year to be a lot better, and so we doubled that. This year I'm expecting over 4,500 hours of community service, and that's a lot of hard work, but it's also really fun to actually see these student athletes interact with children, interact with different donors and individuals, just to see them grow as a person. Like I've been preaching this whole time. Mm-hmm. For instance, Aaron Jones took him to his first community service project, was extremely shy, then took him to his third one. He was interacting with the kids, speaking on the microphone. It's just a really great program, and I love it. I love the community service program here at UTEP because the kids want to be involved, and it's great.
So besides community service, you also do personal and career development programs to help the students after graduation, because not everyone's going to be going and being a professional athlete. Tell us a little bit about those programs and what you have lined up for the students.
We try to have 2 workshops every month. This month of November, we're having 4. And we focus on a lot of different things. We focus on leadership, on careers, resume building, on how to time management and goal setting, decision making, just a whole bunch of different things. And this week, we actually have our mental fitness week, where we'll be bringing in some yoga instructors, some meditation people, just so we could work on their mental fitness game. And it's just a lot of different workshops to help them out through their whole college experience.
Which one is your favorite so far this semester?
We have these seminars called Fat Tuesdays, Peers Helping Athletes Transitions, and that's strictly for freshmen. And I love that one because you get to meet the new freshmen, you get to see what they're like. They're loud, they're crazy, they want to talk all the time, but you also get to teach them, and you get to have seniors that are helping you help them transition into college, and that's got to be my favorite thing.
Before we go, give us a little rundown of your upcoming events as the semester winds down.
We are right in the middle of our SAC Hunger Week. SAC Hunger is a big community service initiative through Conference USA, and we enlist El Paso's help in it. So if El Paso would like to donate, please go online to yougivegoods.com/UTEP-SAC-FIGHTS-HUNGER, and you could donate foods and money on that site, as well as just helping out the games coming up. It's a pretty big community service week. We try to beat all the schools in the university. Our goal is 12,000 pounds, just to wrap that up a little bit. And we also have our mental fitness week, where we will be having the yoga instructors and the sports psychologists come in to work on that game.
Great, great. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for everything that you do for our student athletes. Let's take a look at some pictures of our student athletes and their community service projects.
Julie, that does it for this week's show. If any of you have any questions about upcoming UTEP athletic events or need tickets for those events, you can contact the UTEP Ticket Center at 747-5234. It's located on the East Concourse of the Don Haskins Center, just off Mesa Street. For those of you on the east side, it's the Minor Stores, Zaragoza and Don Haskins, for your ticket shopping convenience.
It has been a great show today. We had 3 great guests: our life skills coordinator Mandy Polito, our band director Andre Fagan, and head volleyball coach Holly Watts. We want to wish the women's volleyball team best of luck as they head into the Conference USA tournament in Middle Tennessee for the Conference USA Championships. Special thanks to our Minor Sports Weekly staff for the terrific story on the UTEP football program. And if you need any more information, you can always go to our website at www.utepathletics.com.
Join us again next week for another show right here on Time Warner Cable and the Texas Channel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Minor Sports Weekly, and we invite you to like us on Facebook to stay up to date on upcoming events and shows. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks for joining us, and remember, go Miners!